Every system has a moment where everything changes. This is the inflection. Nokia. When success stops listening to reality anymore. The most successful mobile company of the 2000s was Nokia. The most disappointing mobile company of the 2000s was also Nokia. This is not a story about bad technology. It's a story about how information slowly stopped flowing upward inside a successful company, until reality arrived too late. In 2007, Nokia was the largest mobile phone company in the world. It had the best engineers, the largest market share, and more experience than any competitor. And yet, within just a few years, Nokia almost completely lost the smartphone market. This wasn't inevitable. It shows how difficult it is to respond to change, especially when change happens to you, instead of from you. Nokia at its peak. Before smartphones became touchscreens, Nokia dominated the global mobile market. In the early 2000s, Nokia controlled more than one-third of all mobile phone sales worldwide. At its peak, around 2007, it held over 40% of the global handset market and nearly half of the smartphone market. Its phones were reliable. Its brand was trusted. In countries like India and China, Nokia became almost synonymous with mobile phone. Inside the company, Nokia didn't see itself as vulnerable. It saw itself as the standard. And for a long time, it was. The Symbian OS problem. While everything looked strong from the outside, many engineers inside Nokia already knew something was wrong. The problem was software. Nokia's operating system, Symbian, was becoming harder and slower to improve. Development was complex. Each new phone often required major changes to the code. These concerns existed years before the iPhone became dominant. So the problem wasn't lack of awareness. The problem was what happened after people noticed. Symbian was built for a world of individual devices, but the industry was moving toward platforms, apps, and ecosystems. By the time smartphones became software-driven products, Nokia was still building phones like hardware projects. It happens because, when reality of the situation stopped traveling up inside large organizations, information rarely moves directly from engineers to top leadership. It passes through layers of management. At Nokia, this created a dangerous pattern. Middle managers were rewarded for meeting targets, not for delivering uncomfortable truths. Reporting problems felt risky. Reporting progress felt safer. Over time, honesty became expensive. In one interview, inside a Nokia employee described how a colleague refused to challenge a top manager's decision. He said he didn't have the courage to risk his job, because people knew things were going wrong. But many asked themselves, why tell top management? It won't make things better. This wasn't about bad people. Nokia had a professional, respectful culture, but the system rewarded politeness over truth, stability over urgency, comfort over clarity, and slowly, reality became filtered. The iPhone moment. When Apple introduced the iPhone in 2007, it shocked the tech world. It wasn't just a phone. It was a touchscreen computer with an intuitive interface and a new way to use software. Inside Nokia, leadership believed the iPhone would fail, and at the time, that belief didn't seem unreasonable. Nokia still controlled most of the smartphone market. The iPhone's market share was small, but Nokia missed something critical. The iPhone wasn't competing with Nokia's phones. It was making them obsolete. Nokia did respond, but slowly and in fragments. In 2010, Nokia released the N8, marketed as an iPhone killer. On paper, it had better hardware, but the software experience felt outdated. The app ecosystem was weak, and consumers didn't care about specs anymore. They cared about experience. The product failed, and Nokia's credibility took a major hit. The collapse. After that, the decline accelerated. Market share fell. Developers left. The OV Store struggled against Apple's App Store. By 2011, Nokia's new CEO publicly admitted that Symbian was no longer viable. Nokia abandoned its own platforms and partnered with Microsoft, but it was too late. By 2013, Nokia's smartphone market share had fallen below 3%. The company sold its mobile phone division to Microsoft. In 2014, an era officially ended. The real lesson from Nokia downfall. Nokia did not fail because it lacked talent or resources. It failed because its internal systems stopped transmitting reality. When organizations reward comfort over honesty, truth becomes expensive. And once leaders lose access to reality, even smart decisions arrive too late. Market leadership is temporary. What matters is the ability to listen, adapt, and change before reality forces you to. Nokia didn't fail because it lacked talent. It failed because it missed its inflection point. This was the inflection.